Welcome to the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top leaders who share stories on how to successfully systemize a business. Now, let's get started with the show.
Businesses can grow and thrive. And today's guest is Daniel Bobrow. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, Adi.
So good to see you. So, Danny, can I call you Danny? Is that okay?
I wish you would.
Yeah, that's the way I knew you. So, we met years ago when I was actually working for another consulting company, and we met and worked together on some projects, and then we actually got connected again. And I said, "Yeah, I would love to have Danny on my podcast because Danny, you're super intelligent, very, very knowledgeable in your field, which we're going to talk about. You're also just a really, really good person. I mean, you give back to the community, you volunteer, you want to help people. So I'm so happy to have you on this podcast.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Adi. It's great to be connected again with you.
Absolutely. All right. So here is your bio, and then we're going to start talking. So Danny Bobrow you're the creator of the Persuasion Blueprint, representing the culmination of your 40 plus year coaching professionals on how to enhance success by maximizing their persuasive communication skills. It's interesting, by the way, Danny, I just interviewed Bob Berg. He's the author of The Go-Giver and The Go-Giver Influencer. And we talked about similar subject, but he wrote this book, and I really like The Go-Giver. It's a fantastic book. And we talked about the art of persuasion, but not manipulation, like the difference between those two, right? I mean, really listening and talking. So this is a continue. I mean, I want to hear your viewpoint and how you do that. So definitely, to maximize the persuasive communication skills, that's what you do. You're also the creator of the Art of First Impressions, your telephone skills mastery curriculum, executive director of the Climb for a Cause Foundation. We'll talk about that a little bit. And you are the president and CEO of the American Dental Corporation. You're a certified mediator and arbitrator, level 1 alpine ski instructor, alpine patroller with the National Ski Patrol, and you hold MBAs from the University of Chicago and KUL Belgium. So that's very impressive. So well done on all those accomplishments. And how did you get started with your career helping with marketing, communications, etc.?
Well, thank you again for having me, Adi. I appreciate the opportunity. And actually, I think the honest answer to that question might be that I learned compassion and empathy early in life because I needed it. I was born with very poor eyesight. And while I'd like to believe that maybe I would have developed those characteristics and traits otherwise, I guess I'll never know. But early on in life, I learned that giving felt good. It was really better to give than to receive. And as far as how I got started, I think that's how I got started with that element of my communication in business and in life in general, having that philanthropic component, if you will. But the reason that I started and developed the dental corporation is that I was born into a family of dentists. And given my eyesight, you probably wouldn't want me working with you with pointy objects or drills or scalpels or anything like that. So I decided to go pursue a business career instead. But after I received my formal education and I did develop a solo marketing consultancy, but my focus was basically, you could say it was always in healthcare because I worked in the fitness industry initially and pretty extensively. But at some point in 1989, so we're going on 36 years, my brother, who was and continues to be a practicing dentist, told me that dentists would need marketing support services, and that was an understatement. And so that led to me focusing on dental for the next 35 years or so. In the process of working with dentists, I realized that getting the phone to ring was a relatively simple matter. It was what happened after the phone rang that really made or broke, and most often broke the opportunity. And so I developed the Art of First Impressions, as you mentioned, which was a telephone skills mastery curriculum. But then I also came to realize that there were many other communications opportunities, or more often missed opportunities, that were not just in dental and were not just on the phone. And so I created the Persuasion Blueprint, which is a more all-encompassing coaching service to help people in whatever walk of life, whether you're an employee, an employer, a team member, working in a nonprofit, trying to do a better job of communicating with your teenage daughter, maybe shedding more light than heat in political discussions, uh, basically you name it. And then that's what I'm doing now. And I'm really enjoying it because I'm so passionate about it. And the giving component is a big element of it because when people know that you're a caring individual and you demonstrate that caring, they're more likely to hear what you have to say about how you can help them.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So let's go back to that point where you were mentioning that you notice, okay, you can make the phone ring, but then the phone rings, whether it's a dental practice or any other business, but let's take the dental practice as an example. What happens? Like, what are the biggest mistakes that people make that they actually lose business because they don't know how to handle the person on the other side?
Sure. And this may seem trite, and you probably heard this before, but the simple answer is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so what I've realized is there's a care gap often on the phone. Most of the people with whom I work are caring individuals. Uh, and I can just tell that. And it's good because I can't teach people to care. But what I can do is help close what I call the care gap, which is that gulf between intention and perception. Because, and often, as we mentioned before the call, people's expertise and knowledge can work against them. People believe that their caring or their competence are so self-evident that they needn't discuss it. Or sometimes they over discuss it. And that can come from insecurity or a lot of other things that the persuasion blueprint really digs deep into because what really was the germ of this program was me realizing that in order before you could persuade anybody, you needed to persuade yourself. And often people have problems with that. They don't may not believe in themselves. They may suffer from imposter syndrome, uh, or they may be overly zealous. And what I learned, and you mentioned about persuasion not being coercion. So I do like at this point to share that my definition of persuasion is influencing people through a number of different techniques and modalities to help educate people in an honest, non-coercive manner to understand what their options are and to make a decision that is in their own best interest. That's
So
what selling is
let's take an
too.
example of that. So somebody's calling a dental practice. I'm calling a dental practice, moved into town. I got recommended that dentist, and I'm calling to find out information or find out that maybe I can make an appointment. Not sure what I'm calling about, right? Well, I'm sure that I need a dentist, but maybe I just want to see what the prices are. I'm not having a specific problem. So what can happen in that scenario if you don't control the conversation and if you cannot convince the person that is calling me to make an appointment?
Well, you made a statement, and I think you were referring to maybe you didn't know exactly what scenario you wanted to share with me when you said that I don't know exactly know what I'm calling about. But the fact is that most people don't know exactly what they're calling about.
I know that's why I said that because I know that.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I was clear. You're
Yeah, because
spot
they
on.
don't. I know that I need to get, I just know that I have to go to the dentist, but I don't know if I have a problem or it can wait.
Right. And
That's,
so
yeah,
they're really looking at you as the expert to help guide them.
exactly.
And what causes people to lose control of the call is when they don't know how to deftly but respectfully take control of the call.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing to recognize is somebody may call and say, "Hey, I'd like to know what the price of a crown is," or "I'd like to know if you're in my insurance plan." And the reality is that everybody's busy, and if they didn't have an immediate dental need, they wouldn't be calling now to ask if you're in their dental plan. So the key is to unearth the real emotion or the real need. And people, when you're dealing with healthcare in general and maybe dentistry in particular, there's a lot of fear, not
Mhm.
only misunderstanding, but fear about the call. So what we do with the art of first impressions is we coach on what I call the Taffy introduction. Taffy is TAFI, which is short for the art of first impressions. And what it is a series of statements. It's really a series of questions that respectfully but effectively put the team member in control of the call. But what often happens, and your question was, I think, why do people fail at this so often, is that they don't understand how to effectively connect with a prospective patient or customer or client, in whatever the scenario may be, by asking the right questions in the right way at the right time, using effective listening technique, not fearing silence, not fearing the answer no. I'm throwing a lot of different examples, but the Taffy introduction, for example, just to give you a concrete example, would be somebody calls the office and I'd say, "Thank you for calling dental care, where our aim is your smile, or we're improving the smiles of people one person at a time. This is Danny. How may I help you?" And then the person says, "Hi, I'd like to know what the price of a crown is," or "I'd like to know if you're in my insurance plan," or "I'd like to know why is the sky blue." In other words, I really don't care what question they ask. Your answer should always be the same. The answer should be, "I can help you with that. My name is Danny. May I ask with whom I'm speaking?" Now, some people will say, "Well, you already introduced yourself, so why are you giving them your name again?" And I bet you know why, Adi. And that's because people don't listen.
That's right, and
They
don't
don't,
remember.
they don't hear. So you say it again, and you'll notice if you'll call a poorly trained or an untrained office, they're looking at an intake form. Someone calls and says, "Hi, I'd like to make an appointment." The first thing they'll say is not, "My name is Danny. I can help you with that. With whom am I speaking?" They'll say, "Your name," which is a definite put off in my book.
It
And
is.
then,
It completely is. I completely agree. And even if somebody, because what it does, it gives me reassurance because, first of all, I probably, when you first answered the call, I don't really remember your name because people say, "Hi, this is Adi. How can I help you?" Okay, I don't remember. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to tell you, not necessarily
correct.
hearing. But now that you paused and you said, "I can help you," wow, okay, what a novel idea. I mean, it's usually, I feel like, I mean, there are times when you call customer service and the whole idea is how we cannot help you. And then at the end, they said, "Well, we can help you, but is there anything else I can help you with?" Well, you already didn't help me with that. What else are you going to help me with? So I think pausing and reassuring and establishing it as the first thing in customer service is the most important thing because we establish this agreement that, yes, you can help me. Great. So now the conversation will just go much better.
Correct. You've just set the tone, and
Right.
that's key. Zunin and Zunin wrote a book called The First 4 Minutes, where they say that people will decide within 4 minutes if they're going to work with you or not. I think on the phone, it can be as quick as the first 5 seconds.
Right.
It's you set the tone, and it should be a yes. And in fact, you can help anybody who calls, even if it's confirming that you're not a fit with them, that they won't be, you won't be able to help them. You've helped them by educating them on that.
Yeah.
So it's because people often think that these scripts and these communications I'm talking about are some form of manipulation. And we've already confirmed that true persuasion is about as honest as it gets. It's just empowering you to communicate the strength of your character and the quality of your service as clearly and quickly as possible. And while we're on the subject of the first statement of or the first question, well, the first thing is I say, "My name is Danny. May I ask who I'm speaking with?" Well, I just ask them a question. And as we know, it's the person asking the question that controls the call. Because if someone calls a typical office or anybody and they say, "Hi, I'd like to know what your service costs." Well, that depends. What does it depend on? Well, it depends on a number of things. Like what? So I'm in control of the call now, not you. And you're the expert, so you really need to be in control of the call. And I'd also like to linger for a moment on this name business. Often people call, like if you call and you say your name is a D, most people will not pause to confirm the spelling or the pronunciation of the name. But whenever, and this is what I coach people on, whenever anybody calls me and they have especially if they have a difficult to pronounce name, I'm not just going to go past and say, "Hello, ma'am, how can I help you?" Because that's the lazy way, and it also misses an opportunity to truly connect with a caller because this person has probably gone through life dealing with people who won't even take the time to know how to spell their name or how to pronounce it. So if you say something like, "I'm sorry, before we continue, I just want to make sure that I confirm the proper spelling and pronunciation of your name. Is that all right?" And I promise you, it's going to be all right with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And as opposed to, how do you spell that?
Right. Or, "Oh, that's a tough one." I
I
mean,
know.
people are fragile. I don't care how high powered they sound. And Dale Carnegie said, "A person's name is the sweetest sound they will ever hear." The other thing I came to realize, and I wanted to share this with you, I was at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and it was a male server. We had a very nice experience. At the end, I asked his name. He said his name was a D. And I said, "Really? I know someone named a D, but it's a woman. Is it ADI?" He said, "Yeah." He said it can be either female or male. Did you know that, Adi?
I absolutely know that. Yes,
Yeah.
It's like Kelly or
Uh-huh.
any other name that can be
Sure.
like like
Pat.
Danny. I mean, you can be a short for Danielle and it can be a short for Danny.
Sure.
So it's really depends. So yeah, absolutely.
Right. But so we got into a very nice conversation, and he appreciated that. Didn't give me anything free, but we have a nice relationship, and that's what I prefer. It made for a very nice experience. But getting the name is not only a way to show respect, it's also a way to launch a conversation. Because some people say, because the main thing for me is to find common interests, find some common ground with a caller or a person you're meeting with, because then that creates one of the Cialdini's key influencers, principles of influence, which is liking. When you can find something you have in common with someone, then you can really elaborate. You can use that as a springboard to earn trust and establish credibility. So that's another technique that we suggest, which isn't manipulative. You have to be honestly interested in learning, but I love to learn. Every opportunity to meet with someone is an opportunity for me to grow by expanding my knowledge base or my capacity for compassion.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I agree with you 100%. Okay, good. So we established that. So that those are some of the techniques when you answer the phone to get the first impression or the art of it's a community. Yeah, it's the first impression. That's how you create that.
Right.
Um,
And that's just the first statement of the five statements. The others are just a series of questions that establish you firmly in control of
let's
the
go through
call.
them I'm interested. So
All
so
right.
we have the first
Well,
one.
if it's a dental office setting, it's "I can help you with that. My name is Danny. May I ask who I'm speaking with?" Then they
Yeah,
give you the name. And notice that's a closed-ended question. It's not open-ended because you haven't really earned permission yet to ask somebody to elaborate. Like, well, why are you embarrassed about your smile? That would be not appropriate to ask at
right.
this time.
Exactly. So they
Right.
get to
So,
answer you. What would be the
right. So
second?
who am I speaking with? And my next question is, are you experiencing any discomfort at this time, Adi? And it's another closed-ended question. It's going to be probably yes or no. Um, if it's yes, she may elaborate. But the point is that I always make it this when I'm coaching people is that when you ask a question, you're not only given an opportunity to receive information, it's an opportunity to impart something. And when I ask you, well, thank you for calling, Adi. Are you in any discomfort presently? What information am I giving?
You are giving that you can help me. I mean, you can help me if I have
Right.
discomfort, you'll be the person who can actually assist me.
That I care.
That you
Exactly.
care. Yeah, exactly right.
Right. So every opportunity, and this is in the first 10 seconds of the call, I've already said I can help them and I care.
Right.
So you've completely set the tone that we're not your typical run-of-the-mill operation that just wants to get you into the office and take your money.
Yeah.
We
And
care.
you can apply to any
Exactly. And
industry.
right.
Okay, well, I'm curious, what's the next one? Okay,
The
so
next
you've done
question is
that.
who may we thank for referring you to us today?
Oh, wow.
And again, the question could be construed as well, you want to see how well your marketing is working, right? But it's not, and it's not like how did you hear about us? It's who may we thank for referring you to us today,
Yeah, it just gives that impression that you are thanking somebody, that you are grateful, that you are gracious, that you are polite and have good
right?
manners.
And that we're so good at what we do that everybody would refer us because
Yeah,
they're all happy.
absolutely.
hmm
Absolutely.
And then the last one is more of a tactical one. If you're busy, because I want to set the tone where you, the call handler, is able to give this caller your undivided attention. If
Yeah.
you're at the front desk and it's busy and you're distracted, can you really connect effectively with this person? And
No.
when you consider that a long-term client, depending on, well, I know in dentistry, the average lifetime value of a patient is $7,500. And it could be a lot more than that. So I would say it's worth giving them your undivided attention for a few minutes. So the last
Right.
statement I say is, and it's a madhouse here, please hold. All right. Don't say that. You say, Adi, I wonder if you'd mind if I placed you on hold for just a moment so that I can get to my desk and give you my undivided attention.
Mm-hmm.
So these are really effective opportunities to, in a very short period of time, let them know that you're not your run-of-the-mill operation, that you really have a heart as well as a head.
That's fantastic, Danny. That is so valuable. And now you are also coaching and helping other businesses, not just dentistry.
That's right. Right. We're working outside of dentistry. I have well, I could go down the list, but it's fairly broad. And one of the things about the phone is that Dr. Morabian, Albert Morabian, did research for UCLA where he identified the components of effective communication and identified those three as being verbal, vocal, and visual. And verbal is the words you use. Vocal is the how you use them, the tone, inflection, and resonance of those words. And the visual is the body language, hand gestures, etc., which in real sense are lacking on the phone. Not in every sense, because people can hear you smile.
Yeah.
So you can use it. But what Morabian determined was that 55% of effective communication was visual when you're trying to work with somebody, to connect with somebody for the first time. So over half of it is visual. And so, and most communication now, well, it depends on your profession, but there's a lot of face-to-face communication taking place. So we also work with that, how to position yourself, distancing, but we're really big on the verbal element, the verbal and vocal components of communication. Because even when you're talking to somebody, eye contact's important. But if you don't use your words wisely, you can lose them because words can hit like a fist. There are negatively charged words. We'll go through an exercise where we'll have a couple of different seminars that we promote, and we'll ask the person, well, which one would you rather attend? And one is sexual harassment in the workplace and dealing with racism, or men and women as allies and celebrating pluralism. And
Number two.
number two, hands down. And the interesting thing I tell them, which is some people get, is it's the same seminar. We're promoting the same seminar, we're just using different words. So words are very important to keep in mind. But,
It's
so visual
amazing.
is very important as well. We talk about pacing and embracing no. A lot of people are afraid of no. When I worked in the health club industry, which is where I really cut my teeth in sales, the easiest sale I ever make was somebody would walk into the gym and say, look, I just want you to know I'm not interested in making any decisions today. I just want to take a tour and I don't want any BS or something like that. And I would say, wonderful, thanks for clearing the air. Let's take a tour and relax. And more often than not, those people would wind up buying. All
Yeah.
they wanted to do was feel that they were in control and that they weren't going to have to deal with somebody that was preoccupied with trying to make them do something that they didn't want to do.
Right. Oh, I don't have time today, Danny. Just cut to the chase. No problem. Let's get a tour, and we'll make it very much to the point. It was
Right.
like, oof,
And
my
if
guards are down, and then I probably would spend like, take an hour of your time as opposed to like the 15 minutes that I intended.
exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You just show them respect and let them feel in control and let them be in control.
Yeah.
We're not trying to control or manipulate, but they need us to be in control. Whether you're a dental office, a health club, an accountant, any walk of life, a consultant, they really want they want to be comfortable that you're going to take care of them. So it is a sequence. We go through what are called the 3 C's of effective persuasion, and those 3 C's are caring, connection, and collaboration. They are sequential, but they're also recursive because you can get halfway through a wonderful presentation, or the person can be committed to your service and then talk to their spouse, or something can occur to them, or they can misinterpret something you say. So it's a matter of reading the room, reading the signals, and being so confident and comfortable with your technique that you can circle back and start right over from square one if you need to.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Wow. Danny, if people want to learn more about what you do and contact you, because they should, how can they do that?
They can go to DannyBobrow.com, which is, you'll have it in the notes, it's the proper spelling of my name, I'm sure. And we're offering a complimentary persuasion assessment. It's a series of questions to just see where you are right now so we can develop a baseline of your caring, connection, and collaboration. It's very likely that you're going to know some of the things that we're sharing. And I often will remind people that even if you already knew this, speaking for myself, I forget things, or I need to be reminded. I need to be refreshed on certain technique. And so, if you're committed to excellence, remember that every professional committed to excellence has a coach, because they understand that they can't do it alone. But that said, the coaching is a series of 7 modules that are only 15 minutes each in length, and each has a series of assignments that you can complete in probably 30 minutes. This is not a magic bullet, but I will tell you that if you choose to invest in the coaching, number one, if after you go through it, you don't feel that you got your money's worth, I will give you a full refund, no questions asked. But if you go through it with an open mind and a commitment to practicing and finding a partner to work with, and I can be your partner if you want, you will become a more effective communicator and a more persuasive one. And that's a promise.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. And thank you for being a guest on this broadcast.
Thanks for listening to the System Simplified podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.